Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Travis and Susie here from the Wolf Hunterz, and we got a reaction video for you. We got this link right here. You can find that link in the description box, which is below the video. There's the link. Click it and pick it. You can request music, movie scenes, comedy skits, live performances, documentary segments, race car driving, motorcycle races, pretty much whatever you guys want. Today's video is brought to you by Will. Will, I believe this is your first time requesting, and if that's true, welcome to the channel, and glad to have you here, and so excited for your video because it is
Top Gear, a tribute about Ayrton Senna.
One of the greatest F1 drivers of all time.
I'm glad that I was able to read that.
Yeah.
Will said, hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of
Ayrton Senna.
I personally think he's the greatest F1 driver ever, doing things other drivers couldn't do at the time. Love the reactions always. Enjoy. Koala.
I assume that in America we probably say Senna, but in Portuguese it says that it's pronounced Senna, and I believe he's originally from Brazil is what I read.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think this is our first time seeing him. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But I can't be completely accurate on that. So we just started doing race car videos recently. I think we probably got like maybe 7. And they're all doing really well on the channel, so I'm super great about that. Also, they're so fun to watch. Oh my god, so exciting. And we're learning, so bear with us as we are diving into this. This isn't a review. This is like a I guess just a reaction from people who mostly react to music. So yeah, here we go. We're going to do this in just a second here. All right, guys. So before we play the video, I want you to know at the end of this video, I'll put a playlist up here on the screen. Just looks just like this at the end. And it's going to have all of our racing reaction videos, so you can check them all out. We've got everything from the world's deadliest motorcycle race to Mount Panorama. We even got, what is the most recent one we did? 11-year-old rally car kid, Calais. I don't remember how to say his last name. I believe he's older now. But at 11 years old, we see him racing in the snow. So you guys got to check that out.
He's a rally. Is that what you said? Do you say he's a rally car racer?
Yeah. So check those out, guys. Go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and feel free to comment below. Chance as loud as it gets.
Anyway, slight change of mood.
Okay.
Had he lived, Ayrton Senna would have celebrated his 50th birthday earlier this year.
Yeah, and the weird thing is I was talking about this to my 14-year-old son the other day, and he went, oh yeah, Ayrton Senna, was he that racing driver that got killed?
God, that makes me feel really old.
Well, I know, it's awful, but the thing is, I said to him, if you'd seen his funeral, you'd know he was a bit more than that.
One of the world's greatest motor racing drivers, Ayrton Senna, has died after a crash at this afternoon's...
Senna, 3 times a world champion, suffered massive head injuries.
Formel 1 Weltmeister Ayrton Senna auf dem
A million people lined the streets of his home city.
The Brazilian government accorded full military honors.
We felt in Brazil that his home country has declared 3 days of mourning.
Wait, did they say a million or they said more than a million?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't know if they said
people.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not
I
sure.
said
His home country had 3 days of mourning.
Wow, you talk about being loved. Oh, that's such a sad. This is like mixed emotions because I'm like, this is 3-time world champion, right? That's what they said, and then in the same sentence, has passed away, and I'm like mixed of emotions. I'm like super excited, like, oh wow, you know, 3-time world champion, and at the same time, like, he passed away, and it's like. Your emotions.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that we're only 30 seconds in, But there must be a lot about this guy that made him just beloved by everyone.
If you'd seen his funeral, you'd know he was a bit more than that.
One of the world's greatest motor racing drivers, Ayrton Senna, has died after a crash at this afternoon's
Senna, 3 times a world champion, suffered massive head injuries.
Formel 1-Weltmeister Ayrton Senna auf
A
dem
million people lined the streets of his home city.
The Brazilian government accorded full military
He
honors.
felt in Brazil that his home country has declared 3 days of mourning.
I think I was 9 years old, and I was racing that weekend. I just came in from a heat or a practice session, and my dad's working away on the car, and I remember him telling me. I remember going around to the back of the car and just bawled my eyes out. At 9 years, I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember exactly where it was, what spot. I could take you there right now.
In Brazil, they remember Ayrton Senna as a sporting hero who gave away millions to help underprivileged children.
Wow.
Elsewhere in the world, though, we remember him best for this.
So he really loved his people, and his people loved him back. You know, that's really amazing.
Senna as a sporting hero who gave away millions to help underprivileged children. Elsewhere in the world, though, we remember him best for this.
Senna goes through. Senna goes through again.
Oh, they're moving quick.
Sounding true, but I started with 4 years old in go-kart. I am just 22-year-old, and there is plenty of time to get Formula One if I will get there.
Ayrton Senna did race in Formula One from 1984 to his death at Imola in 1994.
Ayrton Senna wins at Monaco.
And in that time, he won the World Championship 3 times.
The figures suggest that Schumacher and Fangio were better, but the people who...
I feel like when you win anything 3 times, you're not like, it wasn't a fluke. You didn't have like just a good run. It wasn't like, you know, it was like, no, you are the best. Like,
yeah. I can't wait for him to finish his sentence. He says the figures suggested that Schumacher and I don't know how to pronounce these names, even though he just said them, were better. But the people who, and we paused it here, so I'm curious.
That Schumacher and Fangio were better. But the people who know, they tell a different story.
Interesting.
I think Senna, I will put him in number 1.
For me, Senna is number 1.
For me, he was number 1.
I will put Ayrton Senna as number 1.
For me, Ayrton Senna undoubtedly was the number 1.
I would put him number 1. You know, he was definitely the greatest driver.
If you ask me, I put Senna as well in number 1.
Martin Brundle, who raced against the Brazilian for 11 years, is well qualified to explain why Senna was the ultimate driver's driver.
He had a God-given talent that I haven't witnessed anywhere else. A sixth sense of where the grip was before he turned into a corner.
If you look at this Lotus here, even when it's going in a straight line, it is dancing.
Absolutely.
And there.
You look at these and you think,
here we go.
I can't do that.
I think Senna's ability to be able to drive completely on the limit. Some of the laps he did, we know were unbelievable.
I mean,
this
is manic. Look at this. How he reads those 2 guys. He's absolutely on it, isn't he?
This is...
Look at that.
Oh my God.
Senna was so good at banzai last-minute qualifying laps that in his Formula One career he won an incredible 65 pole positions.
He had this gift to just go and find, we could all find a 10th or 2. The really great drivers can go and find a half a second or 3/4 of a second.
However, Senna could do even better than that.
Wow.
In Monaco in 1988, he outqualified his teammate, the great Alain Prost, by a scarcely believable 1.5 seconds.
Wild. Oh my gosh, this is...
everybody in the end wanted to spoil Senna's pole lap. And when you saw the day-glow McLaren and the very bright helmet of Ayrton Senna, he would come through and we literally jumped out of the way. You didn't want to be the one they all talked about as having blown the lap that the whole of the Grand Prix venue was looking forward to.
But it wasn't just out-and-out speed that made Senna special.
He was so good because he was working so hard on details. And I improved the car also there and there, but he went in the fine details. That's why it was fantastic.
You know, in life and in sports and all kinds of things, I feel like it is the details that makes the difference. You know, who invests in the details? When you own a business, it's the details. It's those kinds of things that really separate one person from another.
Yeah.
First is here.
The worst is the second chicane and in the third chicane. But it's because the asphalt goes like this, in the third chicane and it's like this. In the second chicane is you're coming bumpy.
And if I think back to when I was his test driver at the beginning of the '94 season, after the second day he had a small incident and tweaked his neck, and that was it. Test was over as far as he was concerned. I came in the following day and he was there in the morning, and I thought, oh, okay, he must have made a miraculous recovery. But in actual fact, he was just there to listen to what I was saying to the engineers, to work out whether he could trust my feedback. And when I compare that to Nigel Mansell, when I was his test driver, he would set a lap time and then he would bugger off to the golf course.
Another weapon in Senna's armoury was his utter ruthlessness.
Prost having a look, and Senna's crowding into the pit wall.
Schumacher trying to take Ayrton Senna. Now let's see if the Brazilian moved across. Indeed he did.
He often used to put us in a position that you were going to have an accident and he would leave it up to you to decide whether to have that accident or not.
Martin experienced this psychological warfare first of all when racing against Senna in Formula 3.
Well, look, I've got a great big lead here, and he launches in from nowhere and then parks his Rolt on my shoulder. I couldn't get out of the car until they lifted his car off the top of mine.
So when he wanted to overtake,
he was
he'd
on
go
top.
on the inside and put the car in a place. If you try to take the corner, you're going to hit him.
Yes, he would...
Hold on. I want to watch that again. That is literally crazy.
And then...
Oh, that's almost on his head. Or if not, it is.
What's wild is he's like, this guy would be like, you can have the accident or not. It's up to you. Like, he wasn't like afraid of anything. That's wild.
His Rolt on my shoulder. I couldn't get out of the car until they lifted his car off the top of mine.
So when he wanted to overtake, he'd go on the inside and put the car in a place. If you try to take the corner, you're going to hit him.
Yes, he would put you in a compromising position and then leave you to make the decision. And if you didn't run into him, then psychologically you were buried and finished. He would then know that every time after that he showed you a wheel, you jump out of the way.
He's got Mansell climbing all over him. He has no reason to
So
stay
he
out.
understood his
Even the
opponents
giants in
too.
Senna's era respected his toughness.
I don't think there was any qualifying session or any race he went into that he wasn't prepared to put it on the line.
Senna flying all over the back. He's having a look, and he's inside Mansell.
He was the toughest driver.
If you were another driver, though, you're like, oh, crap. Like,
Here he comes.
oh, no.
Don't want to meet him on the
most
corner.
ferocious driver to protect his area or space.
Senna, all his skills involved. He's got a much slower car. Very clapped-out tyres on his car. Mansell's got fresh rubber on. All the grip in the
Like
world.
a real life video game.
Senna blocking away and sliding a lot.
That is a wild course.
Mansell weaving this way and that way, but Senna won't let him past. He's got the racing line, he's going to keep it.
This will to win reached its peak at the Japanese Grand Prix in 1990. Here, Senna would be world champion, providing his arch-rival Alain Prost, now at Ferrari, failed to finish. So, at the first corner, he made sure Prost failed to finish.
Alain Prost has
Wait,
taken
what?
the advantage. Senna is trying to go through on the inside, and it's happened immediately. This is amazing. Senna goes off at the first corner.
Yes, and that makes Ayrton Senna world champion this year.
He doesn't even try to brake.
No. I mean, at that point...
Whoa. That's... That's competitive right there.
That's winning on another level.
Senna is trying to go through on the inside, and it's hammered immediately. This is amazing.
I feel like you're risking your own situation too with your vehicle getting damaged.
He doesn't even try to brake.
No.
So he's.
I mean, at that point.
So he throws that race because that makes him the champion of the year.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes.
What?
He took out his only true competition in the first corner.
We're still learning, guys. So.
At least that's what I understand from what they're saying. So he went, I'm going to take him out in the first corner because then I take him out of the championship.
Wow. And I imagine, though, it's probably a little less dangerous because maybe they haven't really...
I mean, I imagine that it's dangerous no matter what, but for sure, you're not like...
When they're back there, Senna, if he wanted to stay in the race, you'd have seen 2 puffs of blue smoke from his front tyres, where that gap was always going to disappear. He was driving into a disappearing wedge.
After the crash, he showed absolutely no contrition.
When there is a gap, you either commit yourself as a professional racing driver that is designed to win races, or you come second, or you come third, or you come fifth. And I'm not designed to come third, fourth, or fifth. I race to win. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
Huh. Wow.
Strangely, Senna had a big heart. He was a devout Christian capable of extraordinary compassion.
Huh.
When fellow racing driver Eric Comas crashed at Spa in 1992, Senna stopped and risked his own life running across the track to help.
Interesting.
You see, that's the paradox of Ayrton Senna, isn't it? In
Yeah.
that he was clearly a fantastic human being.
Wow.
And he cared about people in Brazil, he cared about racing drivers. I mean, he was mortally hurt when Ratzenberger died, the day before he died.
Wow.
But then he would crash Alain Prost off the racetrack and put both their lives at risk.
As a man then, Senna was hard to fathom. But when it rained, it was easy to spot his talents as a driver.
And Senna is a wet weather master.
This is Donington in 1993. The track is wet and Senna in an inferior McLaren is in trouble at the start.
He's coming up well. Senna is crowded out and is down to 5th position. And Wendlinger is up into 3rd.
1 lap, 5th to 1st.
Yeah. If you want to have 40 seconds of what is Ayrton Senna, the racing driver, all about, and there it is in a nutshell.
Yeah. After the race, though, he was completely calm.
Driving with slicks in damp and really slippery conditions was tremendous. Conditions like this is gambling, and it's taking chances that pays off. And I think we gamble good.
Wow.
And of course, you have to remember that Senna was doing his gambling in cars that were like wild, ferocious animals. This McLaren MP44, in which he won 8 races and his first world championship, had very little downforce, a manual gearbox, and 1,200 horsepower, 450 more than the F1 cars of today. It is the last of the turbocharged monsters, one of the greatest racing cars ever made. And today, it's going to rumble again in the hands of Senna's #1 fan.
I love the giggles.
The racing back in the...
I love how happy he is.
That's so
I would be
good.
probably that happy if I got to drive that too.
It's so contagious.
mid-80s. It was... I mean, there's an incredible scene, I think, with Nelson Piquet overtaking Senna on full opposite lock. I mean, very little in the way of safety, very little in the way of aerodynamic grip. Manual gearbox, 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, and the cockpit, you could almost punch through it.
Yeah.
So you think, geez, you know, you're driving around at those speeds, your wheel falls off, the mechanic makes a mistake, you're dead. It's phenomenal, and I can't even contemplate what it would have been like. But so that's why I think you have even more respect for the guys that did it back then.
I mean, you had to be, back in the 80s,
crazy.
Had
A bit of honesty here.
to be crazy.
You know, you've got your Mansells, Piquets, Prost. The
It was
drivers
just a right time.
were incredible, and do you think that shining out from all of those drivers in that great era,
Yeah.
Senna rose to the top?
Senna rose to the top.
Wow.
Guys, don't forget, I'm going to put a reaction playlist of all of our racing videos at the end of
the
this
fact
video.
that he would fight for his own, what he truly believed in. It's just everything. He puts everything into getting that lap, and he had no fear. That's what I loved about it. I love this car. I love it.
That's so good.
You know, I'll be honest with you, I was never a Senna fan. I always thought Gilles Villeneuve was the greatest racing driver of them all, but to make this film, I've watched hours and hours and hours of footage. And the thing is, Villeneuve was spectacular on a number of occasions. Senna, he was spectacular every single time he got in a car.
Makes me want to cry. Wow.
Wow. How inspiring.
Whew. Yeah. That was one heck of a story right there.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll make a movie or if they made a movie about it.
Oh, now that's an idea.
Yeah. Guys, if you enjoyed hanging out, like and subscribe. Check out the playlist that's about to pop up here. And if you want to request your own reaction video, find that link in the description box below. Stay tuned. Stay positive.
We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
I just wanna bang my girl.